and we'll be welcoming His Royal Highness Khalifa Mohammed Sanusi II, CON, PhD, Sarkin Kanu. Sarkin Kanu, forgive me.
Please, let's put our hands together for the Sarkin Kanu to come here, not minding that this is an Igbo Nkata Ndi Igbo, Ndi Yom. Please, let's appreciate His Royal Highness for making it here. Make some noise, women.
Your Excellencies, I can see from our governors, senators, ministers, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I must say I'm very, very pleased to be in the midst of so many women. In my days in the central bank, the female bankers decided to make me an honorary woman. And this was after we declared 2012 the year of the woman in banking and pushed through policies for compelling banks to make sure at least 50% of new recruits were female, to make at least 40% of senior management female, and to make at least 30% of the board female. We started this in 2012, and I think the result is that by last year, we now had at least 9 female bank CEOs in this country. And the banking industry has the highest number of female directors on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. I say this because the woman holds the key to development. And as a UN Secretary General advocate for SDGs, I've always said that if we're looking for a single silver bullet that goes through most, not all, most of the problems that we are facing in development, it is to educate the girl child. And you can think of all the issues, starting from lack of antenatal care, malnutrition, lack of immunization, out of school children, child marriage. All of those issues are addressed simply by providing the infrastructure and the support for the girl child to be educated up to the age of 18 to 20. Once you have that, it has such a wide intergenerational impact that the numbers that we're worried about, infant mortality, maternal mortality, out of school children, drug addiction, even poverty, all of those numbers simply crash. Because what we keep doing in this country with these statistics, and I was in the central bank and I saw these statistics, what we do with these statistics is that we are being fed with numbers after the fact. Every day. Today I was reading numbers of malnutrition in Kano. Kano State now accounts for more than 10% of the malnutrition burden in the country. And every year you tell me this number of stunted children, this is the number of wasted children. The question is, we wait for the children to be stunted and wasted, then we count them. Where are we when the woman got pregnant? When she needed support for nutrition. Where were we when that baby was born, when he needed nutrition? The baby meets the government at the age of 6 when he enters primary school, by which time it is too late. So until we begin to look at the woman as the center point for development and build our policies around women, we will never address these issues. Babies are born in villages, in towns, in wards. You need to know when a woman gets pregnant. You need to know that this woman is pregnant and what does she need and what does the baby need in those 9 months, and provide for that. You need to know when she's breastfeeding and be with her. If you can do that, and if you educate her enough to know what to do, you address these issues. So for me, I always say a country that does not recognize the pivotal role and the importance and the centrality of its women will never develop. So this is the first point I'd like to make. The second point is, and this follows up on Senator Baribe. Yeah, another thing about women is they also like talking to each other. Which is a good thing. We should communicate. Another with Senator is, I follow up on Senator Baribe's comment. You know, when we talk about values, often, I don't know what it is in this country, we tend to forget a certain basic distinction. A distinction between who you are and what you are. And it's a very important distinction. If you're a senator or an emir or a governor or a rich man, it is what you are. It is not who you are. It is not who you are. If you own a house or a big car or an aeroplane, it is all what you are. You are the man who owns that house. There are things outside of you. You can have two senators. One is an honest, good, kind, and generous man. The other one is a thief. They are both senators. Who you are is you are a good man or you are a thief. You are honest or you are dishonest. You are kind or you are cruel. You are trustworthy or you are a traitor. You are sincere or you are a liar. That is who you are. And that is the most important thing. Whether you own a big house or a plane or do not, you can have a poor man who is a thief, and you can be a rich man and you are still a thief. Now, this is why we have to talk about values. This is why we have to go back to knowing what is it, and that's why they're called values. What is it that we lay importance to? What is the most important thing to us? People are given opportunities in public service. They have an opportunity to transform the lives of people for the better. God gave them that opportunity. And as we always say, for those of us who are privileged, there is nothing that tells you that God loves you better than the other person he did not give that privilege. It is a test. God makes you a governor or an emir or a president or a senator, and he does not make hundreds of thousands or millions, including people in your family who have not gone anywhere. He's testing you to see what would you do with that position to help those that he did not give. And it's a great opportunity to write your name in gold. But people don't want to. You hold an office for 4 years, for 8 years. All you can say is that I was a minister for so many years. I was a senator for these years. I was a president for so many years. Yeah, so you were president, so what? Yeah? What did you do with the 8 years? What do you want to be remembered for? Is it the houses that you will die and leave that your children will be fighting over? Is it the money that you have hid in Swiss accounts that will never even come to your family? And you will not take with to your grave? And sometimes the family gets it, and we have seen them, the children become drug addicts. They become what we call money misroad. Spend it on parties, and after 3-4 years, the money is gone. Is that the name that we want to leave? So until we begin to have this conversation, and it's not an ethnic or religious conversation. I keep saying that, you see, the reason this country has all these problems is because we are focused on what we are. Even ethnicity is what you are. Did any of us choose to be born as Igbo or Yoruba or Hausa or Fulani? You were just born. What did you do? What was your contribution to your being Igbo or being Fulani? Did any of us choose to be born into the families we were born into? How much did you give God to bring you into that family? That's all what you are. But we like focusing on that. He's Hausa, he's Igbo, he's Yoruba. You can be Hausa or Igbo or Yoruba. If you're a thief, you're a thief. You're just a Yoruba thief, an Igbo thief, a Hausa thief. You know, so that's basic distinction. Once we know the difference between who you are and what you are, you solve these problems. If I see a man, is he a good man or a bad man? First, if he's a bad man, he's not in my group. Now, whether he's Hausa or Fulani or Muslim, or you can be a good Muslim or a bad Muslim, a good Christian or bad Christian. And in this country, you have good people in every ethnic tribe, ethnic group, in every religious group, even those who don't belong to a religion. And you have bad people. For this country to move forward, we have to start talking about values. And I'm sorry, this is a room full of politicians. Today, you're in PDP. Tomorrow, you're in APC. The next day, you're in APGA. The next day, you're in this. Why? Because the focus is on what we are. One day, many years ago, a politician friend of mine moved from one party to another to contest for House of Reps. And I said, my brother, you were in opposition to this party, abusing them all these years. He said, Your Highness, I want to go to Abuja. If I go to the airport and I don't find air peace, I take Asman. The party is just a vehicle to get to Abuja. It's not about what the party stands for. And that's why we're having a difficult conversation today. Anybody that is in one party attacking another, 90% of them, you find that some years ago they were in the other party. So we don't even know what the parties stand for. You don't know. There is no party that will say this is a progressive party, this one that's committed to the masses, because it's the same people, left, right. We have come to a point where we have mistrusted leadership. I am afraid of talking to politicians. Yes, Senator Baribe will come to me today and I'll be discussing attacking opposition party. We'll be working together saying we have to work. The next day I will see him on the platform holding the hand of the party, and he has now crossed over and he would have left me. And the first thing he will do is sit down with them and say, that Emir, if you see what he was saying about you. And I get into trouble because I thought I was talking to somebody who was committed tonight. This is what we have become. And I think this is what Senator Baribe is saying about is saying. And this is, I think, why this conversation you have is essential. It is a conversation at the most basic level. And it is important to have it because as we go through difficult economic situations, as we go through insecurity, as we go through uncertainty, the tendency to abandon who we are increases. People feel they have to steal to pay school fees. They have to be dishonest in order to eat food. Women have to be prostitutes in order to live. We have to get to a point where we remind people of what is important in life. And also for those who are elite, go back to the basic principle of understanding the meaning of enough. How much do you need in your life? You have a roof over your head. You are eating 3 square meals a day. You are in good health. You are paying your children's school fees. Why do you need a plane? Why do you need 10 houses? Why do you need a yacht? Why do you need billions in a bank account? Why? You're just watching the money. You know that if you have 100 billion sitting in a bank account, you are a poor man. You are just a megad. You are not eating it. You are not using it. You are not living in it. Why? What do you want it for? And that is 100 billion that could have built schools, could have built hospitals, could have provided health care, could have saved lives. So for those of us, and I'm not just about politicians, all of us, politicians, traditional rulers, until we go back to knowing the importance of who we are, the rest of the country will never go anywhere. Until we know that the most important thing is not how much you have or how many houses you left, but how you were able to impact human life positively. Okay. And this begins, coming full circle as I close, it begins and then it ends with what? The woman. It is the mother. In my religion, someone asked the prophet, who do I honor most after God? He said, your mother. He said, how about after her? He said, your mother. He said, after her, he said, your mother. Then he said, after her, after he mentioned mother 3 times, he said, then your father. It's true. Our fathers go to the office and work and they pay school fees and they buy the food. They make sure we do not lack. What are they providing for? They're providing for what we are. It is the mother that teaches you not to lie, not to beg, not to steal. It is the mother that makes us who we are. So I do hope that what you have in this conference, and we should understand, yes, it's an Igbo women's conference, it's an Igbo, but a woman is a woman. A good woman is a good woman. A good mother is a good mother, a bad one is a bad one. I do hope that at the end of this conference, we'll be able to have something that would make an impact on how we think. And finally, I have the permission of all my wives to tell all of you that I love you.
Thank you.
In the heart of the city where stories unfold, Njenje Media TV shining bright and bold, bringing news from the corners of the globe, connects us together no matter the road.